Hello and welcome to my channel. I know everyone is probably getting tired of Christmas crafts, but I only have a few more I want to make. When I bought these tiny Tim Holtz Santa mugs, I just had to make a snowman to hold one. I'm using about a 5 to 6 inch ball for the body and a 3-inch ball for the head. I started by removing a small bit of styrofoam from the bottom of each ball. I then used glue and 2 toothpicks to attach them together. I also glued in a toothpick for each arm. I then set it aside to dry. Next, I wrapped a piece of wire around one of the arms and then bent the end of it. This is so I can have his hand hold the cup. I used the wire to help add structure to the clay. Next, I rolled out some air dry clay and covered the head and body. Because I was using a large styrofoam ball, it was a little difficult for me to hold onto it without leaving a lot of fingerprints on it, so I went ahead and smoothed it out and then let it dry before I added the arms and face. When the body was dry, I added the clay to his arms. I started with the arm that will hold the mug and just squished the clay over it and then smoothed it out. I then made sure the cup would fit in his hand. For the other hand, I just slid a log shape of clay over the toothpick and smoothed it out as well. I then turned the hand up and made an indent where I'm going to add a snowflake. I then sculpted the face and set it aside to dry. While the snowman was drying, I added some faux whipped cream to the mug. It's just a mixture of lightweight spackle and white paint. I also added a faux peppermint stick into it. Once the snowman was dry, I lightly sanded some of the rougher areas of the clay. I also had to sand the hand that will hold the mug so the mug would fit better. I used an X-Acto knife to trim off any extra clay and then 220 grit sandpaper. Next, I gave it a coat of white paint. When the paint was dry, I glued it to a recycled wood round. I then painted the face. To make the eyes and mouth, I first drew them on with a pencil and then used a black paint pen over the pencil lines. It's much easier to erase a pencil line than to have to repaint it. Next, I used some scrap felt and made him a hat. I cut a circle for the brim and then a rectangle piece. I then cut another circle from the middle of the first circle. This will be for the top of his hat. I then sewed the ends of the rectangle together and then sewed the smaller circle to the top of the hat. Once that was sewn together, I turned it right side out and then sewed the brim to it. I decided he would have a coat, so I folded over a piece of felt and cut it into a coat shape. I then stitched up the sides and turned it right side out. To finish around the edges, I glued some small pom-pom trim to it. Next, I glued his hat on and added some ribbon and greenery to it. I then covered it with some watered down white glue and then sprinkled mica flakes over it. Next, I put his coat on and added a few bits of glue to keep it in place. I then glued on his snowflake and the mug. I also added a bow. To finish it, I added a small pocket with some trim and a button and then put 2 faux candy canes in it. I also added some gold wax to the base. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I'll see you in the next video.